The time is now. Hello everyone, I'm super excited to kick this off. My VC introduction video, long time coming. My name is Bruce, unaffectionately known as Punk's Not Dad. Now I want to say, that is a completely original name. It's not a play on words, it's not what you're thinking. It has nothing to do with this 1981 EMI Secret Records pressing of the Exploited's Punk's Not Dead, because this is trash and might as well be a coaster. Moving on. I am a musician, a record collector, a fan of rock and roll in general, and I got into the VC about a year and a half ago. Not even a year and a half ago, I'd say about a year. Doesn't matter. During the pandemic, I was bored, hanging out on YouTube, which I was into YouTube before it was cool. Like, I've been old school with YouTube. I put a search in for top 100 punk albums because I wanted to see what other people had to compare with what I have. And I was humbled pretty quickly because some of the cats out here have a lot of really cool stuff. I got a lot of cool shit too, but it was really nice to see that other people were buying and collecting and showing stuff that I have and I want. So I got into it pretty quickly. The first two people I saw on there was, first was Vinyl Richie, and great channel, great guy. I love his videos. The guy's got so much knowledge. He's an elder statesman. No offense, Rich, but you are old. And the second was Ryan Kidd, who I consider a friend now. Guy's unbelievable, man. Knows his shit like nobody I've met. So I started with those two, watched a bunch of guys, Ryan and Mika, the Finnish Heartbreaker via Hungary, have a live stream called Dr. October and the Kid. And I started getting involved with that, and the Peanut Gallery started coming up and talking and chatting. I met so many really, really cool people. I'm not going to name everybody, but anybody involved with that live stream, thank you for welcoming me, being cool, showing cool stuff, letting everybody get a little drunk, a little wild, whatever. Good times. Always look forward to it. So cheers to all you dudes. Honestly, meeting all you guys has been fantastic for me. Bourbon. So today, other than introducing myself, I want to show 10 records that influenced me. Now I want to repeat this. This isn't a best of. This isn't any kind, this is not subjective at all. This is 10 records that mean a lot to me and impacted my life in a positive way. So my story, I've always liked music. My first tape I ever bought was, I'll just grab it actually. Def Leppard Hysteria. This is the original tape I bought, and I guess it was 87. Yeah, 1987. I was 7 years old. Because I will be 42 on Monday, May 9th, 2022, if somehow people are watching this in the future and actually give a shit, for the 2 people that actually subscribe. That was my first introduction to rock and roll, and then of course I heard Nirvana and Pearl Jam and the grunge explosion, but I didn't really care about it because I was a kid. But my first introduction to punk rock, and that's what I'm going to focus on in this channel, is punk rock and power pop and corresponding genres, was in 1993 when my cousin, who was a senior at the time, I would have been in 8th grade, her and her mom, my aunt, came to live with us for about 6 months. And she had a really nice tape collection, and she would be downstairs working out, doing aerobics and shit, because that's what you did back then. And when they moved out, she gave me a stack of tapes. She gave me 5 tapes. And that was my introduction. And these are the tapes that she left me. Ramones Mania. And this is cool too because she actually had a ticket stub in here from March 27th, 1994. She gave this to me when I saw her the following year. She said, put this in your Ramones Mania tape. So yeah, they opened up for White Zombie in Dayton, Ohio, where I live. So I got that. That's pretty cool. I never saw them, but I have it. That's tape number 1. Then she gave me Weird World by the Weirdos. Okay. Of course, Nirvana's Nevermind. She let me have that. Sorry for the glare. These don't have any sleeves. Sonic Youth's Dirty, which Sonic Youth's all right. I don't hate Sonic Youth, but I don't love them either. And then, of course, this classic, Misfits, Evil Live. This is pretty awesome. At the time I heard these, it made me feel something, but I didn't get it. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. The gatekeepers and the cool guys are going to bury me for this. And the 2 people that are actually watching this may never talk to me again. But I want to tell you that that's okay. But go ahead and kick rocks now, because I don't give a shit. This is my journey. This is what got me into music. I didn't understand exactly what was happening in those records until 1994, when this record came out. For me, as a 14-year-old, it took this record, for this record and this record to make sense. Don't ask me why. That's how it happened for me. And I'm glad it did, because once these 2 happened, we're off to the races. Period. Don't need to talk about these. You know these. Ramones are my favorite band of all time. Love them. Clash is probably my favorite British band. I know. Real original. But I also love Green Day, so deal with it. From there, I got into the stuff at the time in the 90s. A lot of Lookout, Epitaph, all the California stuff. I got into a little bit of the East Coast stuff too, but just whatever. I listened to a lot of pop punk at that time, and that's what I was into. So these next 2 records, I pretty much taught myself how to play music with, because they were simple and easy, and I need a drink. And I could figure this stuff out. The first one is controversial. I know, what a dick. He punches girls, I get it. Screeching Weasel, Boogada Boogada Boogada. This is a Lookout reissue. Their first record on Lookout. First record period, actually. And I taught myself how to play along to this record and the next one. All of these are OG presses except for this, which is, it's an OG Lookout, but it was released on another record or label a couple years earlier. And the second one, The Queers, Love Songs for the Retarded. Now this had a wonderful song on it called Ursula Finally Has Tits, about a young punk rock girl hitting puberty. Try writing that shit and putting it out today. I dare you. Not gonna happen. Needless to say though, this is what was out at the time. I love this. This was great. The Queers. Now there was a little record shop outside of town. Actually, it was kind of a rural area, but there's a little record shop and a couple of cool dudes worked there that were about 5 years older than me. And they turned everybody on to cool shit. They played in bands. They were awesome. And they would recommend things to me. And sometimes I would listen, sometimes I wouldn't. But this is the first time I ever heard Elvis sing in a punk band. And that's when I bought on cassette Misfits, Walk Among Us. Now, if you're into the Misfits, you might like Danzig. You might like Sam Hain. I'm just throwing that out there. You don't have to look into this stuff, but they're very similar. The song Skulls on this record might be the best punk song ever written. I'm not saying it is. It might be. It's debatable. It's in the conversation. First ballot Hall of Famer? Definitely. The GOAT? We can talk. Great record. Love this record. Fantastic. From there, another thing I got turned on to, and I wouldn't say this is a political band. I would say this is a movement band. And this is, you know, these guys are still doing stuff to this day. Not all of them necessarily, but they're active and they've influenced so many people over the years. And that would be the mighty Minor Threat. When I heard this, I hadn't heard anything like this. I guess this would be the first hardcore record I heard. Even though I don't know, I guess DOA would be the first hardcore, Black Flag, The Germs, something like that. But because of this, I heard Black Flag. I heard the Germs. I heard the Bad Brains. I heard DOA. All that stuff I would have never heard if it wasn't for Minor Threat. And Ian MacKaye and Henry Rollins, famously friends growing up. And those two dudes paved the road, man. Love it or hate it, this shit's important. From there, like I said, I think Minor Threat was more of a movement band. This is the first political band I ever heard. Now I know people are going to say Crass, Rudimentary Peni, all that stuff was going on in England, and it was, you know, around the same time. That's what a lot of people will say political punk started, but for me, this was the first political band I heard, and of course it's not rare, everybody knows it. Dead Kennedys, Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables. When I heard this, I mean, I'm like, wow, punk rockers take shit seriously? Okay, cool. I mean, you gotta remember, I was probably 15 years old when I heard this, 16. Like, this kind of was a little bit much for me at the time, but I grew to love it. Still love it to this day. I think the first song I ever heard was Holiday in Cambodia. I mean, that's some deep shit for a 15-year-old. So, Dead Kennedys. Fast forward a couple years, in my early 20s, probably 2001. That's probably 2000. I heard a Fat Records compilation that had a song called My Pop to Cop by the Dickies, a modern song. And I went, this is really damn good. What's this band all about? So I looked them up, and I went back to the beginning. And the first record I bought by the Dickies was, of course, their debut, The Incredible Shrinking Dickies on Yellow Wax. Now, personally, I like Dawn of the Dickies a little bit better. I think the production's better. I think the songs are a little catchier. But this is the first one I heard. This is where it started. The song Go Bananas, as my shirt says, is not on this record, but it came out on the same time. I think it was on a 7-inch or maybe a 12-inch EP or something like that. Michael Pilmore would definitely know. But yes, the Dickies, still one of my favorite bands to this day. And the last record I'm going to show is another classic. It's not rare. People know about it. People love it. I found out about this band very late. I need a drink because this is intense. It's really not. I wish I'd have found out about this band when I was younger, but it just never crossed my path. I heard of this band about 10 years ago in my early 30s. And that band is, I don't know if you call it post-punk or whatever, it is punk rock to me. Wire, Pink Flag. What can you say about this record that hasn't been said 100 times before? Nothing sounded like it at the time. I mean, I guess you could say, I don't know if it was the first of its kind. Maybe. I mean, you got bands like Gang of Four did something similar. Alternative TV was doing something a little bit similar. A band I found out about a couple years ago, Punishment of Luxury, which is like almost Devo punk, almost. Like, it's kind of in that vein, but this kind of changed. This kind of opened my mind a little bit even more. Even as an adult, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Some of my favorite stuff on here obviously would be, everybody knows Ex-Lion Tamer. I think Mr. Suit is a cool tune. I mean, all these songs are cool, but I'm just pointing out a few. 12XU is absolutely fantastic. But the song Mannequin, it's almost power pop, which is so weird because this record is not like that. But Mannequin is just, it's just really, really catchy. And it's got a pop element to it that just, it's almost like it doesn't belong, but it absolutely belongs. So, Wire, Pink Flag. Check this out if you haven't heard this. So, that's all I got. Again, this is my journey. This is what got me on my path into punk rock and rock and roll and power pop and everything in between. I'm not saying this for everybody. I'm not saying this is your journey. This is my journey. So I really appreciate you watching. I thank you. And I'm super happy to be posting videos. I'm super glad to be a part of this community. And there's a lot more to come. So again, thank you for watching. Cheers to you all. Till the next time.